Looky what we have here. Yes, indeed. I'm back, y'all. Tomorrow will make 2 weeks since I shot my last video. Everything is looking pretty good. I just planted this today. My mom had some potatoes that were sprouting, so I decided to go ahead and plant them. So I put some organic potting soil in there and cut the potato up into little pieces, which, you know, the pieces that had to sprout. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. And the good thing about growing potatoes in a container is that harvest time, there's no digging. You just flip the container and there your potatoes is. Alright, well, we're gonna move on down. This right here is my Carolina Reaper plant, and I'm not sure what's going on. It's not as green as it's supposed to be. Just the other day I added some worm castings to it, just to add a little bit more nitrogen. So my next step would probably be watering it with a little Epsom salt. Mix about 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt to a gallon of water. And I think it may be lacking magnesium, but Epsom salt is a great source of magnesium. But there's my ginger. As you can see, I got a few more new sprouts since the last video. And speaking of the last video, I kind of spoke up on a composting tea. So that day after I posted the video, I fertilized it with the compost tea that I made, and I'm real pleased with it. So I'm gonna share with you guys on how I make it. All right, this little plant here is at first I thought this was a cherry tomato. This is one of the plants that I told you guys that sprouted up in one of my raised beds that was full of compost, you know, old rotten vegetables and stuff like that, kitchen scraps that I throw in there. And I thought it was a cherry tomato, but actually it's a roma tomato. And you see that? Yeah, look at that. I don't expect this plant to grow big. This plant I said I was gonna give away, but it don't look all that healthy, but it is. I don't know. I added some more stuff into this, a little concoction that I mixed up called biochar. I'll speak a little bit more about that later. So we're gonna see if we can save this plant. But now look at these cucumbers. Y'all remember when I shot that video 2 weeks ago? That was probably about all that you saw, those little leaves there. And look at it now. So I put my little tomato cage on it, and we're gonna see what they're gonna do. This right here, it's my zucchini. So it's looking pretty good. You know, I planted the zucchini, cucumbers, and squash the same day. Now my squash got to a slow start. As you can see, this right here is a lot smaller than the zucchini, and the cucumbers also. So they got off to a slow start, but it seems to be doing well now. This squash plant right here, I replaced it. The leaves started turning yellow. I'm not sure what went on, but I just replaced this plant about 2 days ago, and I can already see the new growth in it. So you know, sometimes you can buy bad plants, and hopefully that was the issue. This tomato plant right here, it's doing okay. It was kind of yellowing out. I added some more worm castings. I did like a little top dressing on it, so I think it's bouncing back. And then we had a nice little rain that came in, so we're gonna keep an eye on those and see where it goes from there. The peppers, uh, I know they say peppers are slow growing plants, which they are. But these was kind of yellowing out on me a little bit also. So I wasn't for sure if it was a nitrogen deficiency or what. So I also gave these two a top dressing of worm castings, and they looking a little better. So I'm gonna shoot these peppers up with a little Epsom salt and water also. All right, let's move on to the other side. um, Lavender, I've picked a few little flowers off of it, blooms, whatever you want to call them. But you know, it's a slow growing plant, just like rosemary. Actually, I found out that rosemary and lavender are in the same family. The sage, you can see the new growth under here. You know, it's gonna bush out, so I see a lot of new growth. So the sage is doing pretty good. It's a slow grower also, but once it starts growing, oh man, and it stayed green all the way through the winter. uh, Rosemary plant that I planted, it's doing pretty good. You know, like I say, they slow growers, so I'm not really expecting um, you know, this to grow into a giant before the fall. uh, Now this bed here, this is my Arizona travel tomato. I'm sorry. And everything's looking pretty good in here. It's all green. And this is one of two beds that I have my composting worms in. So you look down into there. Let me just scoop up it and see what we can scoop up. All right, see those worms? And I've also noticed that I have a lot of cocoons, and I also see, snap that on, baby worms that been hatched already. So they reproducing pretty good in there. That's my oregano, and I can see a new shoot right there that's coming up. So I guess it had been rooted pretty good. I transferred it from the ground and cutting off a plant that didn't make it through the last freeze. And this right here is my black cherry tomato plant. So as you can see, I've got some good growth since the last video. And that right there, I'm not really expecting this to make it. I pulled that out of one of my worm bins. It didn't have any leaves in it, but that's a cabbage. And the core of it started shooting roots out. So I pulled it out of my worm bin and just stuck it in the ground. And now that's all that is new growth. But I know it's really too hot. It's really not the season for cabbage. So I'm expecting it to bolt out because of the heat and probably seed up. I'll probably pull it before then, but you know, I just wanted to try it and see. And this is my mint. Everything is looking luscious and green. And I hit all this with my compost tea. So anyways, these tomatoes here, I said I was gonna pull them out, but they didn't start blooming. I also have a few tomatoes on that plant right there. So I'm just gonna keep them and stick it out. And this right here, I'm so excited about this. Now you guys saw that pumpkin plant 2 weeks ago. Look at it now. Look at it. Healthy as can be. And look at there, look at there. This is my first time ever growing pumpkins. If you watched the last video, I said I was growing these for my grandson because for some reason he loved pumpkins since he carved his first pumpkin for Halloween, this past Halloween. And anyway, that little joker, he'll be 3 on July 12th. So I'm so excited about this. Like I said, it's my first time, and I'm growing them for him. So I can't wait to see him come out and harvest the first pumpkin. And I'll make sure I make a video of that. But look how that plant has extended. And this is another plant. That's a pumpkin plant also. So this is 2 different plants. And look at here. Look at that. We got a little one there coming. And let me bag back just a little bit more. Look at that. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. All right, let me ease on around here. And in this little section here, we got another pumpkin plant. And these two right here are, I'm assuming, pumpkin plants also. But I don't understand why these are much smaller, you know, for us, the vines. But they are good and green, so we just gonna see how that's gonna turn out. This squash plant here, it's not squash, it looked like a squash. Pumpkin plant is blooming. It hadn't really started to run yet. I transferred it out of the raised bed because it was really just too much. Didn't know if it was gonna survive or not, but it's been in the ground now for I don't know, a couple of weeks, I guess. So anyways, let's get back into the worm. Well, I call it worm casting compost tea because I'm using some store-bought worm castings right now until I'm ready to harvest. That'll be another video on showing you guys how to start a worm composting bin. Okay, I'm back. In this video, I'm going to show you how I make my worm / composting tea. It consists, of course, worm castings, grandma's molasses. You can use any molasses as long as it's, let me see if I can find it on here, non-sulfur. I don't know if you can see that, but right there, they say non-sulfur, okay? And we're gonna also use this liquid, organic liquid fish and kelp blend. That's got a lot of micronutrients and all that good stuff in it. So I'm gonna show you the rest of this setup and we're gonna get into it. Here I have my water. It's dechlorinating right now. What it has been for 2 days now. I got these disc bubblers in there. You want to aerate your water. And I have this pump here. It's a pretty good pump. You can run up to 4 outputs on it. So it's pretty strong. And it's a quiet pump. You don't even hear it running. Be quiet. Shh. Can you hear it? Nah. Well, let's go ahead and get into this video. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is grab the worm casting. So, I'm using this little cup right here. This is a cup. So I put 2 of these little plastic cups in there. Cup filled, and this right here is just a little knee-high pantyhose. So what I'm going to do is fit this over the cup and shake it in. And it's all in there, and that'll help to keep from having to do a whole lot of straining later on. And the only reason why you would need to strain it, it's because of, just say if you're doing a foliar spray, it's good to spray on the leaves. Plants also feed through the leaves. And there we go. I got 2 cups of worm castings. So we just gonna push it on down like that. There we go. I'm gonna tie this into a knot. Alright. You see my bucket right here? Let me scoot it back just a little bit so you can see. I'm gonna drop that in that bucket. Okay. Now we're gonna mix our fish and kelp mixture. It requires uh, uh, 2 ounces per gallon of water, you know, for outside plants. I'm going to put about 8 tablespoons of this in there. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're just gonna switch that around in there like that. It's a real simple recipe. Now for the grandma's molasses, we're gonna put about 4 tablespoons. That stuff is good and good. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're gonna get the rest of that little bit out of there. We're gonna stir that around for a little while, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So we're gonna let this aerate for about 3 days, 72 hours. Make sure I get all that molasses that was in that spoon. That's good enough. So we're gonna let this go for about 3 days, and what you're looking for is it's gonna start foaming up. It's gonna cause a foam, and that's really when you know that it's ready. It could take less than 3 days. It just depends on the temperatures outside. The warmer the temperatures are, the faster it's gonna do its thing. So I'm gonna, in about 3 days, I'll be using this to water my plants. I'm probably not gonna do a foliar feed, just a good watering with the solution, and I'll give you another update. So I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe. It don't cost nothing. But anyways, till the next time, peace.